Welcome to the Ebbs of History, the show where we dive into the strangest, wildest, and sometimes downright creepiest stories the past has to offer. From dancing plagues to pirate queens, you'll laugh, you'll gasp, you'll even groan at my impeccable dad jokes. But most importantly, you'll learn how history is way cooler than your textbook ever told you.
We're your history-loving hosts, Zoe, Gavin,
And I'm Jason, and in every episode, the three of us will take a quick trip through time and see what lessons we can still learn today. This is the Ebbs of History. A quick heads up before we begin. Today's story is about the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of World War II. We will talk about war, serious injuries, and loss of life, and we will do it with care and respect. If you're a younger listener, this might be a good one to listen to alongside a grown-up.
yeah, Hayden. I'm just joking.
Oh, I'm leaving that in.
Oh, yeah. He's been wanting me to do this. Shout out Hayden for one of my friends and number one listener.
Number one listener, that's right. So how's everybody doing?
Good. Yesterday we saw the Hadestown Pro Shot,
Yes.
and it was
So good.
good.
It was a really
Oh, it was probably like one of the best I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
And
It was-
despite it being one of my favorite musicals, like I've never like seen it. Like I've never watched like a bootleg on YouTube. I wanted to like reserve it for when I go see it or this. And it's the soundtrack doesn't do it justice, and two, it's a whole different story with the sets, with the lights, with
Yeah.
the sound. Like it's its own
character.
character.
The lighting and the set design is its own character.
Yeah.
For sure.
It-
Oh, I love it.
See, when you two were listening to it on the way to school those couple days, like, I was kind of listening, but I wasn't listening. But, like, even with that, like, oh god, it was just so much better with the sets and seeing what characters which is
Yes.
just, oh.
Zoe, what did I say after I listened to it? I wasn't that impressed by the soundtrack
Yeah.
when I first listened to it. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
But-
started sending you videos on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then you
And I really
started
wanted
going.
to see it, and I said, I bet you this would be better if I were to see what was going on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's things that are not on the soundtrack, but they're in the actual show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that it connects the songs to each other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which made it so much more enjoyable.
And then the silences they put in as well.
Yeah. that-
Because you can't put silences in soundtracks. I'm like, you can, but it's not, you're gripping, you know?
and in those silences, I was just like on the edge of my seat. Like, oh my God, that was like,
yeah.
because they would place them, they're placed in places that were very emotional.
Mhm.
And so you had this emotional buildup and then silence
Mhm.
for an extended amount of time. And you just sit there and you linger with that emotion that had been built up. I loved it. I absolutely loved
The
it.
thing is, I know the story. Like,
Mhm.
we all know the story of
Yeah.
Orpheus and Eurydice, but it's so different because the show inherently has a loop where like
Yes.
each time it's like, we're going to do it again. It might
Mhm.
turn out different this time. Will
Mhm.
will it happen this time?
That's
We
one of
don't
the-
know.
Yeah, that's one of the themes of it. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a different experience every
Mm.
time you're listening to it because of that.
And the
And they-
first song, it just comes out with a bang. Like, that was like one of the best songs on the soundtrack.
Yeah, that
It just
is
got me pumped up
it's a
and ready.
banger. It really
It's
is.
a good
like,
opener. It's one of the
Yeah.
better
just that
openers.
trombone, the muted trombone.
Mhm.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I really did. I knew I would,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
And then, like, I forgot to say this last time we were recording, but, we saw the Odyssey, we saw the Hadestown Pro Shot, and we also watched the first two Batman.
Christian Bale Batmans.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh god, all of those movies, banger, banger,
Banger after
banger, banger.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
god.
been a good week for movies. for sure.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to go next weekend to go see Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that comes
Spider-Man.
out.
Spider-Man.
Oh, I'm really excited for that.
Comes
The-
out next weekend.
The movies are on a generational run.
Yeah.
No, it's just called summer. So,
Yeah.
So it just feels like the world came back to
All
life.
right. There we go.
Oh,
All right. Today we meet Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a young engineer whose worst business trip in history put him in two cities on two of the darkest days of the 20th century. It is a story about terrible luck, astonishing survival, and a man who turned pain into a plea for peace.
What was his name again?
Yamaguchi.
Tsutomu, which is spelled Tsutomu. Last name Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi. 29 years old. So, he's an engineer for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, and he designs oil tankers, those gigantic ships that carry fuel across the ocean. And in the summer of 1945, near the end of World War II, his company sent him on a 3-month business trip to a city called Hiroshima. Well, August 6th, 1945 was finally supposed to be Yamaguchi's last day. His bags were packed. He was headed to the train station, dreaming of seeing his wife Hisoko and their baby son. And then he did something that every single one of us has done. He forgot something. Gavin, take a guess. What do you think he forgot that changed this man's entire life?
So he was going to the airport, right?
Train station, but yeah.
Train station to airport. And he forgot something. I feel like it's either something super uber important or something like a souvenir. You know? It's two extremes and it's not the middle.
Okay. Well, it was his hanko, spelled Hanko. A hanko is a personal name stamp that people in Japan used to sign documents. Sort of like a signature that you can hold in your hand.
That's actually kind of useful.
It's useful, but replaceable. Right? And yeah, I get it. If I forgot it, I would go back and get it too, but it changed his life.
Yeah.
That's the crazy
See,
part.
he could never predict what was going to happen, you know?
Yeah. Yamaguchi had left it back at the office, so he turned around to go get it. That little detour, that one forgotten stamp, is where our whole story turns. Worst business trip in the history of business trips. At 8:15 in the morning, he was walking near the docks when he looked up and he saw a plane. An American B-29 bomber and 2 small parachutes drifting down from it. Then came a flash. Yamaguchi later described it as a flash of magnesium, a great flash in the sky, and it knocked him clean off of his feet. The United States had dropped the first atomic bomb ever used in war, a uranium bomb nicknamed Little Boy, on the city of Hiroshima. Yamaguchi was about 3 kilometers away, a little under 2 miles, from the center of the blast. Think about that.
And he survived.
He's just under 2 miles away from. It's up in the sky because they explode it when it's still up in the sky because that causes the most damage, and it knocked him off his feet 2 miles away.
That's crazy.
Now, this is the part where I have to slow down and be serious because this is not a funny part. An atomic bomb is not like a regular explosion. In a single instant, tens of thousands of people in Hiroshima lost their lives. And the heat and light were beyond anything the world had ever seen.
That's just
it's heart-wrenching every time I hear it.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't think it'll ever not be, you know?
Yamaguchi lived, but he was badly burned on one side of his body. His eardrums were ruptured, and for a while he couldn't see. Imagine how frightening it would be to not even understand what had just happened to the entire city. Nobody on the ground even knew what an atomic bomb was yet. In fact, the closest known survivor of the Hiroshima bomb was a man named Izo Namura, who happened to be down in a basement of a strong concrete building only about 170 meters from the center.
Oh my God.
Or about 600 feet. So he was 6 football fields. No.
Yeah.
That's not right. No, those are yards.
2? No.
2.
3.
3.
3.
I don't know.
No, 2.
600 feet would be 2. 2 football fields.
Yes. That's crazy.
Of the 37 people working in that building, he was the only one who survived. He lived all the way into his 80s, passing away in 1982. Sometimes survival came down to something as simple as which room a person was standing in at the time. Here's something strange and, in its own quiet way, hopeful. In Hiroshima, it was said that nothing would grow for 75 years. But the very next spring, oleander flowers bloomed in the scorched earth, and certain trees, including tough old ginkgo trees, sent up green shoots from their burned trunks. Today, those survivor trees even have their own name in Japanese, Haibaku Jumoku, and many still grow in the city. The oleander became so beloved as a source of strength and hope that Hiroshima later made it the city's official flower, alongside the camphor as the city tree.
There, outside of my school, outside of the main office, there's a little sapling in the ground, and it's a tree from, I can't remember if it was from Hiroshima or if it was from Nagasaki, but it was from one of the two, and it's a little sapling out there. And
Really?
it's protected by a little fence, and we went out and saw it in history class in freshman year, and it's really, really cool.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, next time I'm there, I'm going to have to go look for it. Where
definitely.
What office is it near?
It's at the main office.
Near the main office? Okay.
It's in that grass field. It kind of blends in. It's like if you know about it, you
Is
know
it
about
inside
it.
or outside the gate?
It's outside the gate.
Outside the gate, okay. All right, we got to take a special trip over there then.
I'll take a picture next time I'm over there.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Or it's
Yeah.
from I think it was from one of the bombings though, and it survived, and it's here now, and it's really
I
cool.
bet you it's an oleander or a ginkgo.
I think it is, because you
Yeah.
talking about this reminded me of it. And we went on a little field trip out there, and we went to see it after we learned about these bombings, and we saw it, and we all just stood there, and we were all like, this is so cool.
In Marshmallow Madness, in my 6th grade year, one of the contestants was the ginkgo tree,
Oh,
and it made it all the way to the final.
there you go.
Ugh.
Do you understand that a little bit better now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. A polar bear barely beat it.
But I mean, it getting that far, it has to be a symbol.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a symbol of strength and hope. All right, back to Yamaguchi. Wounded and wrapped in bandages, he found 2 of his coworkers, Akira Iwanaga and Kuniyoshi Sato, who had also survived. They spent a night in the air raid shelter, and the next day they made their way to the station and boarded a train. Where do you think the train was carrying them?
Nagasaki.
To his hometown, a city called Nagasaki,
Oh,
Japan.
God. It's like, what are the chances? You know?
I'll go over that later, actually.
There's probably like hundreds of cities in Japan, and the 2 that he goes to are the 2 that they bombed.
And not only that, there's a little twist at the end that I can't wait for you to hear. Yamaguchi got home, saw a doctor, and even though he was covered in burns and bandages, he did something that tells you a lot about the type of person he was. On August 9th, just 3 days after living through an atomic bomb, he went back to work. He wanted to do his job.
Wow.
There he was in his Mitsubishi office, trying to explain to his boss what he had seen. And his boss didn't believe him. His boss basically told him he had gone a little crazy, because how could one single bomb destroy an entire city?
Honestly, at that time, I would be in the same shoes as the boss.
Because news
You
doesn't
know?
travel that fast.
News doesn't travel that fast. I mean, they heard of it, but like they didn't really have a grasp on the destruction that it had caused at
Yeah.
that point, because this is only 3 days later.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have the opportunity to look back and see what it had done to both of these cities. Well, at the time, just the one city. You know, and so we have a picture in our mind.
Mhm.
And if someone were to tell me today, like if that hadn't happened, someone were to tell me today that someone, you know, bombed Los Angeles and the entire city is gone, I would not believe them.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. It's just a crazy enough statement where you don't believe it.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's honestly kind of just grief, kind of like the stages of grief, like denial.
Yeah, that's right.
You're denying it.
That's a very good point.
It's not, we're like, no, that didn't happen. Like,
Mhm.
what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
It's like valid denial, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
He wasn't saying that it didn't happen. You know, because obviously there's Yamaguchi and he's got, you know, bandages on his face.
Yeah.
And, like, he wasn't denying that it happened. He was just denying that it caused that much destruction.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
While he's having a conversation with his boss about how impossible it is, at that exact moment, At 11:02 in the morning, the sky lit up again. The same white light the United States had dropped the second atomic bomb, a plutonium bomb this time nicknamed Fat Man, on Nagasaki. Yamaguchi later said, "I thought the mushroom cloud had followed me from Hiroshima." He dropped to the floor as the windows shattered. Once again, he was about 3 kilometers from the center. And once again, against all odds, he survived. Now, you may read dramatic versions of this story that say Yamaguchi was protected inside a special stairwell that split the blast the way the front of a boat splits water. That vivid detail comes mostly from one book that was later pulled by its publisher for relying on an unreliable source. So we will not treat that as a certainty that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
What we can say for sure is he was in his office roughly 3 kilometers away, and he walked out alive a second time.
How much is 3 kilometers and
Just under 2 miles.
oh
Because
wow.
he was the exact same distance that
both
he was
times?
from, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Huh.
Was this man the luckiest person alive or the unluckiest? People have argued about that for years, and we will come back to it. Now, for one of the strangest twists in the whole story. And it's not even about Yamaguchi. The second bomb was not originally meant for Nagasaki at all. Did you guys know that?
I think I did.
The main target that day was a different city called Kokura. But when the American plane arrived over Kokura, the city was hidden under clouds and smoke, so the crew could not see their target. They circled, ran dangerously low on fuel, and finally gave up and flew to their backup target instead. That backup was Nagasaki. In Japan, there is now a phrase, the luck of Kokura, which means escaping a terrible fate without ever knowing how close it actually came. Think about that. A patch of cloud in the sky helped decide which city was spared and which city suffered.
Yeah. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
The luck.
Yeah.
The luck of Kokura.
Yeah.
That's why they call it that. Here's another small, sad, but fascinating detail. The survivors who traveled from Hiroshima to Nagasaki carried knowledge with them. They had learned that after the blinding flash came a punishing blast wave, a bit like how thunder follows lightning. Some Nagasaki families who listened to those Hiroshima survivors dove for cover the very instant they saw the second flash, and that knowledge helped save their lives.
Wow.
After the war, Yamaguchi's life was hard, but it was also, in many ways, remarkable. He worked as a translator for the American Occupation Forces, which is a pretty amazing thing when you stop to think about it. Then he became a teacher, and later he went right back to designing ships at Mitsubishi. He and his wife Hisako decided to have more children, even in a time when no one knew what radiation might do to a family. And that took real courage. For most of his life, Yamaguchi stayed quiet about being a double survivor. He did not want to make a fuss, and he felt that it would be unfair to people who were far sicker than he was. But as he grew older, his heart changed. He began to write poetry, gentle short poems called tanka, and he started to speak out. He even traveled to the United Nations in New York to ask the world to get rid of nuclear weapons. He once said the reason he hated the atomic bomb was, quote, because of what it does to the dignity of human beings. In March of 2009, when he was 92, the Nagasaki government added his Hiroshima experience to his official records, making him the only person that their government formally recognized as a survivor of both atomic bombs.
Really?
The only one that they recognized.
And there might have been more,
There
too.
is. At least 165 people are known to have lived through both, though some estimates run lower. And Yamaguchi is the single one that his government actually officially recognized. He said, quote, my double radiation exposure is now an official government record. It can tell the younger generation the horrifying history of the atomic bombs even after I die. And Tsutomu Yamaguchi passed away on January 4th, 2010 at the age of 93. I will share one more thing, and I want us to handle it with respect. After Yamaguchi died, a British comedy quiz show called him the unluckiest man in the world and made jokes about his story. His daughter was hurt, and she spoke up, saying the world still does not truly understand the horror her father lived through. The show's network later issued a formal apology. It's fine to feel wonder and even amazement at a survival story, but we never laugh at the suffering itself, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like how we don't make jokes about 9/11. It's something that just, it's off limits.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
nobody knows, like, I feel like everybody generally knows that, like, that's just something you just don't joke about.
It's not, well, no, there are jokes about 9/11, but there are no jokes about the suffering that happened or the victims of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can be amazed by Yamaguchi the person while treating what happened to those two cities with all the seriousness that it deserves. Same with 9/11.
Yeah.
That's just the first thing where it's like, people know you don't talk about it, and you're very delicate with the situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's no, like, you're not just throwing jokes around about it. You know,
in
it's
bad
very,
taste. It's classless. Yeah.
Historiography.
How do we know all of this? Yamaguchi told his own story in newspaper interviews, in a memoir, and in his poetry. And he was filmed for documentaries. So we have his words in his own voice. That is historical gold. Still, we have to read carefully. One popular English book about double survivors, called The Last Train from Hiroshima, was withdrawn by its publisher in 2010 after it turned out to rely on a person who faked his story. So some dramatic details you find online should be treated as legend rather than fact. Numbers vary too. Sources say at least 165 people are known to have lived through both bombings, with some estimates lower. Yet Yamaguchi is the only one Japan officially recognized. Even casualty counts differ from source to source, because records were destroyed and radiation kept claiming lives years afterward. Good history means holding the confirmed facts firmly, and the shaky ones a little bit looser. Lessons we've learned today. So, what can we carry with us from Tsutomu Yamaguchi?
I think we've kind of talked about them. Like,
Yeah.
specifically, like, I have started, like, be very delicate with situations, because that's somebody's experience. Like, that actually happened to somebody. Like, it may be so fascinating, out of this world to you, but to someone, that's just their life. That's their life story. That's just something that happened to them on a random Tuesday in August.
Yeah.
Always be careful with what you're saying, and just think about before you just start saying stuff.
What do I say a lot to Gavin specifically?
Think before you speak.
No.
Yeah, that too.
Read the room.
Oh yeah, you
Read
used
the
to say
room.
a lot.
Yeah. Read the room. If, you start talking about the bombings, the atomic bombings, and there's somebody in the room that lived through it, or, is
Has a
connected to it,
relative.
or has relatives, read the room. Be considerate of other people.
Yeah. Because
it may not be your life that, it was affected by it, but somebody else's wasn't. You don't know who's in that room with you.
Because when we were talking about it in history class, we talked about it very delicately. We talked about it with, like, care and, like,
reverence
and compassion.
Yeah.
Because like the teacher was like, I don't remember this very clearly, but I remember it was like, we don't joke about this. Like, I feel like we had a conversation about that, where it's like, we don't joke about this. This is something that seriously happened, and we don't know, but there could be relatives in this room right now.
Yeah.
Like, we have to take care and just be
mindful
of what we're saying. And could it hurt someone? Could it make someone feel that the experience wasn't good enough? Not good enough. Wasn't
valid?
Yeah. That it.
No, there are limits to that. You don't want to be overly,
Yeah. Then you kind of just seem like you're like condescending.
Right, exactly. Yes. Yeah. So it's a fine line.
Yeah.
But that's what life is about.
Most things are.
Yeah. I've got a couple. Tiny moments matter.
Yeah.
Forgotten stamp back in his office changed his life forever.
Yeah.
It's like the butterfly effect, but in the wrong way, not in the,
Or even a cloud over a city changing the lives of all those people in Kokuru. And they didn't even know it. Tiny itty bitty moments can affect things greatly.
Like, the stars
Butterfly
needed to align for that to happen.
Mhm.
You know, a cloudy day in the middle of, the end of summer, that's not common at the end of summer. And the one day that it did happen is the one day that they were planning to drop the bombs.
Yeah. And it only happened at Nagasaki because they were running out of fuel
Yeah.
because the clouds wouldn't clear. Second, survival of such a tragedy is not the end of the story. Yamaguchi could have stayed silent forever, but he chose to speak out, to warn, and to hope. He turned the worst days of his life into a gift for strangers he would never ever meet, including us right here today.
Yeah.
It's time for the Fun Fact Challenge. You guys know the rules. Best 3. Lock in when you're ready.
Gavin actually took notes this time, so it might actually be out.
Number 1, Yamaguchi turned back toward his office to grab one small
Locked
person.
in.
I heard Gavin first.
I did too.
His Hanko.
Good job. What's a Hanko?
It's a stamp that has your signature.
Very good. 1 point for Gavin.
I think I can take it. Bonus points.
Question 2. What was the intended primary target of the second
Locked in.
bomb?
Kokuro.
That is
Kakura.
correct. Heavy clouds and smoke hid the target, so the crew diverted to Nagasaki. Giving rise to the phrase...
The luck of Kokura.
This is not a question, but...
Luck of...
Kokura.
The luck of Kokura.
I don't want to say it wrong.
And the final question, but Gavin's already won. Name one kind of plant that grew in
Locked in. Can I name both?
Sure.
Oleanders and ginkgo.
Very good.
Sweep. Sweep. Sweep.
Gavin wins. Sweep, sweep, sweep.
Yeah.
This day in history. Today is August 6th. That's why we did this episode today. That's why we did this episode today.
That worked out really well.
Yeah.
On this day in
Wow.
1945, the United States dropped the first atomic bomb ever used in war on Hiroshima, Japan. Tens of thousands of people lost their lives that day. Also on this date, 1806, Emperor Francis II gave up his crown and dissolved the Holy Roman Empire,
Oh, wow.
a realm that had lasted around 1,000 years. He did it partly to keep Napoleon from ever claiming the ancient imperial title for himself. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. That I never even thought about that because I didn't really realize that the Holy Roman Empire lasted until 1806.
Yeah, me either,
Mhm.
honestly.
And-
And I had a whole class on it,
Yeah,
basically.
you just took AP. You're right. The fact that he could have been a Holy Roman Emperor kind of blows my mind.
Mhm.
Yeah, that it lasted that long.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, in my mind at least, Napoleon marks a benchmark of, history for me, of
Mhm.
just, his, before his reign and after his reign.
I can see that.
So, thinking that the Holy Roman Empire was still active during that time
Yeah.
is crazy.
Because in my things that I like to read
Mhm.
is medieval history,
Mm-hmm.
starts about 800,
Yeah.
and that's when the Holy Roman Empire was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your favorite part of history almost connects to my favorite part
Uh-huh.
of history
I've never.
through an empire.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, it wasn't as strong as it was at its height, but it was still there, obviously.
Yeah. And lastly, 1965, United States President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act into law, banning practices that had been used to stop Black Americans from voting. It is one of the most important civil rights laws in American history, being summarily dismantled year by year by our current administration. From a forgotten stamp to a message of peace, Tsutomu Yamaguchi's life reminds us that history is stitched together from tiny choices and enormous courage. He walked through the darkest of days twice, and he chose to spend the rest of his life asking the world to be kinder. May we listen. That's it for this episode. Thanks for traveling through time with us on the Ebbs of History. If you like today's story, share it with a teacher, a friend, or your family on Instagram at Ebbs of History. If you have any show ideas, corrections, or questions, you can contact us at questions@ebbsofhistory.com.
Signing off. This has been a co-host, Gavin.
Zoe.
And me, Jason, reminding you that history is not just about the dates and battles. It's about the people, curiosity, and the weird, wonderful choices that shaped our world. Until next time,
Keep wondering.
Keep laughing.
and keep learning through
The ebbs of history.